So, Lord of Mysteries, episode 2, um, really goes, really continues off from where it left off, just giving us a small recap of the fact that Dune Smith has offered him a position to become part of the Nighthawks, a group that deals with people with beyond abilities, or beyonders as they say, while also trying to keep a low profile that this is their main goal. So they always take on like different positions such as police or security stuff like that. So essentially, they're like living double lives in a way. But yeah, Klein decides. Yeah, I think despite the fact that this could be trouble if they try to pry too much and become aware of my past life. I still think my best option is to go with them. So he goes and he goes to the bar where he's supposed to meet Dune Smith, and he gets taken down. We get another decent explanation as to the fact. Well, not this. I shouldn't say explanation. We get a better understanding of beyond abilities in a way. So as we know, the episode tells us like how many abilities you could get, the paths you can take, how strong they can, which ones are stronger, stuff like that. But now we actually get in this episode, we get uh like specific types of abilities that the Nighthawks use, and also their level and what they're for. So they're, aside from the Church of God, is that it can open up for paths for pathways to abilities, and these are probably like the higher being ones. The Nighthawks are also able to do that with like for specific types. Um, the the Sleepless Pathway and Corpse Collector, which is good for self defense. I'm assuming this is also like has increased physical enhancements and stuff like that, but probably it's going to be weak towards like magic or, as I say, mysticism, I think, in here, which is, and then the other two that the Nighthawks offer new recruits are the the seer, and this one allows them to have take advantage of mysticism and like being able and stuff, and in return they're weak to offensive attacks. So like this one, you get your magic boost up, and but you're very weak to like physical attacks. So pretty nice trade away between the paths that you can choose in here. The only downside is that Nighthawks really are not great, or they don't have the best abilities, because I think all these pathways that they're on essentially are nine, which we know are we know the higher number they are, the less powerful the abilities are. But I guess it makes sense because they also have to use these abilities to do their regular job or like their second gigs that don't involve the supernatural or like the beyond abilities. And we also get like a bit more of like an awareness of that these abilities are not all great. Uh, I do believe the one of the things that they warn them about is that the the Nighthawks get have a risk of losing control of their ability. So making like if you take a beyond ability, you cannot, if you're not conscious enough or you don't focus enough, you can lose your own will to this ability if it overpowers you. So almost giving these pathways its own sense of self, which I'm really enjoying this exploration of abilities and different pathways. And I hope that as the story goes on, we get, because there's like 18 more pathways that were not mentioned that we can explore later on. So I'm looking forward to learning more about the pathways and how they're related to uh, how they're related to the users, and how, if there's like more ways to get it than the ones that we've been mentioning so far. Um, but because of that, they were both like, because they were not necessarily always good. The guy lets him know, or Dune Smith lets him know, like, listen, our abilities are both can both be used for as guardians. We People can look to us as guardians, or also like wretches, depending on who it is. And then we have Klein, who goes to the alchemist to try to get a better understanding as to which position, or which pathway to take. And when he arrives there, we have the main alchemist kind of let him see this piece of paper from the king that keeps being mentioned, King Rosal, that keeps being brought up. Like, Klein pretty much deduces that Rosal is also kind of like him, a transmitter, or has the transmitter ability from back in their world. And because he has that, and because of his knowledge of Earth, he's able to decipher more clearly what Rosal left for everybody else, in which it was kind of like a warning to, I guess, it almost made it seem like, because you'll see an image that I put up, you have Klein and Rosal the king meeting one another. It's kind of like Rosal telling Klein that he needs to choose either to be a seer or a marauder, because that was the one regret he had going forward. So this pretty much has made it easy for Klein to just decide, okay, well, I'm gonna be a seer, and they chose the seer. Tells the alchemist, like, listen, I want you to open the pathway to the seer. It's what my heart tells me that I should do. And oh my god, like, if words can if I could the words do not describe the amazing animation that takes place when, as you see Klein try to get a grasp of his power. uh First of all, they have like steps to where they test your ability and your awareness to harness your power, which I think is really cool. There's not just like, here's your power, you awaken it, cool, you're on your own. uh Nighthawks kind of like take a bit of responsibility, and they have somebody there witness it. And so if, for instance, if one of them, their powers overtake them, they can put them out right there and there, instead of letting them out in the world. uh but no, yeah, the seer ability is pretty amazing. It gives him like multiple different visions, like one where he can see the auras and magics and stuff like that. So like, he can pretty much know like when somebody's sick or is not doing well based on the amount of ki that they're oozing out. And it also allows them to be able to use ki to uh, locate objects and see uh, things that cannot be seen through the normal eye. But he can also swap between that and his normal eye, so that's good, because I think he was getting to a point where he was overwhelmed. And of course, because he just recently got his new power, new job description, he instantly gets paid, and the amount of money he gets paid is like, damn, I'm going up in the world. He's like, I'm finally middle class. I'm no longer poor. Uh, Funny stuff. And then we have his first mission as as the newly acquired seer, and it's a kidnapping case where he has to find this kid because they're the Nighthawks are usually like bodyguards to his family. And as we we go with Klein and the other guy that went to pick him up, they get to this place where they find the two kidnappers, but it turns out that kidnappers were not just kidnappers; they were also given abilities. And really interesting that the way you noticed the ability was given was through a feather, and a pretty like seemingly invisible feather to most. So I'm assuming this is something that Klein noticed, especially given the fact that he's a seer and he's more aware of ki and energies like that. But in one of the things I found really cool is that this was the instance that Klein was able to see. Okay, so this is what happens, and this is what they mean when they said that our abilities can be a risk to us. Uh, the fight scene was pretty cool between the guy and the other people. Animation was stellar on that finishing move, though. Ugh, all red roses and yeah, great stuff. Finally, we're getting to the closing ends of the episode where we have the guy that's talking to his shadow, seemingly like, oh yeah, he doesn't know anything about the notebook. Just like I thought, he seemed interesting, so I'm keeping him close. But it's like, yeah, we kind of need more info on this guy. And we have Klein get like a vision as he's somehow asleep in his room once again. And this vision is due to his seer abilities, where he kind of gets a grasp that uh, where the notebook is, and he decides to go after that. And that's where like the episode kind of leaves off for the main portion. Uh, and then after the opening sequences or ending sequences hit, we get like a mini flashback to Benson and the real Klein, uh, and his sister. And this is where Klein meets, or Klein uh, meets Benson, meets Benson, who has a gift for him for getting a new job, essentially. And it's the suit. It's like the suit that is in the promotional photos for Lord of Mysteries, seemingly. So like, you could say this is like a very nice gift from friend to friend. And yeah, love that the ending sequence of him thanking Benson and his sister ended up shifting towards his either client's mother and father, or the one that's inhabiting Klein now's mother and father. Almost like times intertwining, and oh, I'm really loving the series. I'm giving this episode a 9 out of 10 as well. So great stuff. But yeah, that's all I wanted to talk about today. So YouTube, if you're seeing this, uh, and you like what you're seeing, hit the like, hit the comment, subscribe, all that good stuff. Make sure you tune in to the Twitch live streams if you want to catch things early. And other than that, until the next time, bye, and bye stream.